Welcome. In this video, finally going to be looking at Scott Nuttall and his hike videos. So Scott is a hiker who has been trying to look for the M Cave as well as signs of Kenny Veach. Now I'm going to be giving my opinion on Scott as well as the videos he's uploaded. I'll be sharing with you the odd few screenshots of strange things that were spotted in his videos and give a brief opinion on them. But first of all, I think it's worth sharing a few small details. So just a few little key details before we get into my opinion about Scott. So in no particular order, he has said, based from the comment section and what he said and replied to people, he said he has been up there many times in the mountain and he's lived there for some time. So I guess he's got experience, he knows the surrounding area and whatnot. He did say in a comment that he talked to a forest ranger about the desert area, part of it being closed off, which I assume is that area where the covered up cave is and some other things like where Kenny has gone through and Sean has gone through, where the military are trying to take over the land. But from what Scott was saying when he was speaking to this ranger is that it's all a big lie and nothing's going to happen. So that's a bit odd. No, I don't know. I'm just reading it from what he said in the comments. Also, Scott doesn't believe the covered up cave is the M cave, and I think he doesn't even think it's an actual cave to begin with, because I think in one of Scott's hike videos, as he's looking at some like rock formation, he makes reference to Liberia Sean's video and states, you see this rock structure in, it's natural, it's not been put there to cover up anything. So I guess that's like hinting at what he thinks about the covered up cave. But also he believes people talking about the covered up cave or saying it is a covered up cave are only doing it to get views. So that's just his opinion again. Also, he thinks certain areas where Kenny Veach was filming himself were shot in different areas to confuse people and throw him off the scent, done to keep the location a secret. I don't know about that because I don't know the area well. I'm not there, but you never know. Also, a key point is Scott, as well as a friend he knew, was part of the search and rescue team from what he said in the comment section at the time of when Kenny was missing. So I assume Scott and whoever else was out there looking for him in that environment. So Scott's got experience, he probably knows where people have looked, what has been found, what hasn't been found, and where else to go and explore. That's what I'm assuming. And yeah, finally, he thinks Kenny faked his disappearance to escape debt, which is a valid point. That is possible. Now let's get into my opinion of it overall, Scott's hike videos. Okay, so my opinion of it overall, the way I see it is what Scott is doing, being out in that environment to begin with, as well as actually recording it and uploading it online publicly so other people can see, he's doing more than enough. Now in terms of the key locations and areas he's concentrating on, is it helpful in solving the M Cave mystery and possibly Kenny's remains, supposedly? It depends, because reality is Scott is looking south. I don't know if it's far south, but it's definitely south within the desert. Now, from what other people have said, like Jeff, who I think knows the location well, he's been there, he's done the maps as well to try and make things clearer for people in understanding the area, the names of roads, etc. Basically, Kenny filmed himself Joe May Canyon, Wild Horse Pass, and obviously Picture Canyon. They're the key locations where Kenny was located when filming himself, and he may have passed through them on his final hike. Now Scott, as I said, is looking south. He's away from that. He should be looking north, supposedly. That's where the M Cave supposedly is, north. And even Kenny himself, in a past comment or so, or when he was talking to his ex-girlfriend, he said, if I don't find it, I'm going to head north and go onwards. So, you know, maybe that's a hint, that's the key area for focus. But what we've got to consider is, at the end of the day, while Scott is out there looking south and checking other areas, which may or may not be helpful, you know, at the end of the day, he might know more than other people. Maybe he has an idea, or maybe he just wants to look at it from a different angle perspective, because he did say in a comment that he's going to start south, have a look around and stuff, do what he can, and then he'll head onwards north. And I think most recently or so, in a comment, he said he is going to go to the key location and he is going to visit the supposed covered up cave. So we'll see about that. But, you know, we link it back to the search and rescue team. If Scott was a part of that from what he has said, then maybe he is going south, because that's where the rescue team didn't search originally. So he's checking there now. And I guess the only other thing to consider or to acknowledge is, whilst he's out there trying to look and solve the mystery, he's probably also out there for fun, because he likes doing what he's doing. So he's taking it at his own pace and time, you know. Don't know if it's a dark line to use, but, you know, there's no real rush, is there? Because Kenny has been missing for like 5+ years. So people do what they can when it comes to filming, getting out to the location, etc. So yeah, in my opinion, other opinions on the videos. So the camera quality is pretty good, you know, it's fairly clear. I mean, it would be nice to see what it's like in 720, 1080 HD, that type of quality, but, you know, at the end of the day, it depends what cameras can do, what's available at the time. So yeah, another key positive I would like to mention is the zoom quality within Scott's videos. You know, he's got a good zoom on his camera. He tries to pick everything up when panning around and picking up on the key details and the odd peculiar things that do stand out. You know, definitely hands-on as well. That's another positive. He is hands-on when it comes to exploring the odd few caves, or maybe a mine or something, trying to get into the holes, climbing up rocks, etc. So it enables the viewer to get a better look on stuff, see it up closer, see what's inside, and so on. So that's a good thing. Now, yeah, as a negative, you could say, is it reckless what he's doing? Could he hurt himself? Well, I think he knows what he's doing, and, you know, he's probably got experience. So yeah, there's that to take into consideration. I mean, the only critique I would say is maybe in the titling, or when he's describing it in the video, the overuse of the term M cave. You know, it being M cave, it should just be one cave out there. And obviously the problem is we don't know where the actual M cave is. The only one we know of, or seems more believable in, because it's really the only one that stands out, I guess, is the covered up cave, the one what Sean investigated and the one that Kenny passed. Basically that area, it seems like a hot spot. Not saying that it's 100% the M cave, but it's really the only one you can go off from in terms of leads. And the reason why it becomes a bit of an issue when it comes to doing videos of that desert, the area, or elsewhere, south, east, wherever else, and you call it M cave, it kind of adds a bit of confusion, because you think, oh, is the M cave south then? It's not north. So it causes a bit of confusion. But I can understand why the titles might be called that, is so because M cave is a key word on YouTube search engine. M cave, Kenny Beach, those are key terms. And I can understand why people will use them, because it's the best way of getting the audience's attention. Whereas if you just called it Nevada Desert or something very vague, not many people are going to come across it. Not many people are going to be able to reach and see it. So, you know, I can understand a bit of a conflict, but it's understandable. So I think that's enough of my opinion. You know, all in all, it's good that there's another hiker out there with like more up-to-date footage, I guess. You know, he's looking in different areas and maybe accidentally he might come across something important, something key, or maybe something completely different, another missing person, who knows. And yeah, there's the odd few critiques, but you know, maybe when he does eventually go north and look in that area, things will become clearer, maybe. So now we're going to move on. So now the footage. I'm going to give you my opinion on the odd few things that did pop up in Scott's videos. I'm not going to be doing individual separate videos though, because Scott already made reference and commented on them. So I'm just giving a brief opinion in this video. So no particular order. On one of Scott's videos titled Quail Road Clues, at the minute mark of 11 minutes and 7 seconds, Scott did come across an odd scene with some kind of rock structure, which I'll show you a small clip of now.
Look, somebody's piled these up for like a marker. And then right here is the second part. Somebody's taking those off. They're right here. They were looking for the M cave. See, they put this rock here with a wire.
So yeah, as Scott said himself, it looks like rocks have been piled on top to act as like a marker. Now the question is, why does that need to be there? What sort of marker is it? Is it a marker left by miners? Or like a mining zone point? Or is it left by a hiker? Who knows? Now the reason why it's kind of interesting and why it has some kind of linkage to previous hikers' videos like Libera Sean and I think Jeff Clark and really Robin, is that whilst they have been out themselves in different areas as well, they have come across either rocks piled on top of each other or skulls placed high on a rock which an animal couldn't reach. Now if you want to see more about that, make sure to check the icon above right now, and I believe I've done a video covering that sort of stuff, so it'll become a bit clearer. So yeah, kind of weird. Now it might be innocent, it might not be anything strange, you know, dark or left by someone as like a message, might be by workers from back in the past. But yeah, if we get on to the next key piece, this strange stone with wire wrapped around it tightly. Now the actual wiring does look quite rusty and old, so maybe it was used by miners to like pull rocks off the side of the face of the wall, maybe, and that's why there was missing rock on the side, and maybe that marker was put there on purpose to signify some kind of mining spot. Who knows? But I thought it was just worth giving my opinion about that. So the only other interesting thing that did stand out within that video was at the minute mark of 14 minutes 56 seconds of when Scott came across some mine shaft or something, which was a hole in the ground. Now the actual structuring of it did look very odd. Maybe it's not an actual mine shaft, maybe it's a hole which leads into a tunnel of a mine shaft which goes elsewhere, the actual entrance elsewhere. But nevertheless, it just looked a bit weird. You know, if you look at the rocks around, like the way it's piled on top of each other, it's almost like a square box or something, and then you've got this opening here, which looks quite deep and dark. Now, a closer up one looks like there's a big gap, which just goes into pure darkness. Now, there's no real way of telling how deep it really is. I don't think he dropped a stone down either to determine, you know, the fall, the height of it, the depth. I mean, if we was just to briefly do it, I don't think this would work. That does reveal a bit inside, but not much. What I'm doing is turning the brightness up so it kind of makes it a bit clearer to see inside. Now, from the looks of it, at least, it still looks quite deep. So yeah, who knows how deep it goes down. Question is it anything interesting? Does it link on? Not really, I would say, because the actual location of this, as well as the two other screenshots I showed you before, aren't near the covered up cave or where Kenny was when he did his recordings. So I'm just throwing that out there. So, in a different hike video on Scott's channel, title of the video, Pine Nut Road, Top of Peak. In that one, he does come across kind of a strange scene in which he comes across rope and then later some kind of taping, which I'll show you right now.
Rope. Oh yeah, a little piece of it. Piece of plastic over there. So, at least we gotta go up that hill right there. There is a piece of caution tape tied to the branch. Why would they? That's weird out here in the desert.
So yeah, it is kind of odd, that rope being there. Now, that definitely looks like from a hiker. And if we zoom in, the colour of it, with it being knotted, was it used to abseil down or climb down from somewhere? Was it used as some kind of pulley? Who knows? But kind of odd. And then if the next image is nearby, it kind of has a bit of strange link. Now have a look at this tape. It's one of those caution tapes. Now normally caution tape is used maybe at a scene of an incident, or maybe restricted access or dangerous environment. You can't walk through it, so you don't get hurt. Now, if you linked this with that, maybe a hiker got hurt. Maybe someone got injured. Then there was like some kind of distress call and then emergency services had to come. Now, this being at Pine Nut Road, I don't know if it has like phone signal. I don't know if it's as desolate as other areas within the desert. I don't know. But if this is linked with that in terms of proximity, it's close together, it does seem very odd. Now, does it have any link to Kenny? Probably not, because it seems out of the area of where Kenny was or would operate in. But maybe it could be to do with maybe another hiker. I don't know. There isn't really much on the news when you look online, so who knows. But it does look very odd, and even Scott mentioned it himself, so you never know. So, in conclusion, with Scott the hiker producing these videos within that environment, the desert, it enables new eyes to look at different locations since it's from a different perspective and area. And with newer, updated footage, maybe it will reveal changes to the landscape, who knows. But hopefully, when and if Scott gets round to heading north and going to the likes of Picture Canyon and that sort of area, and also passing by the covered up cave, as well as maybe, you know, looking at that keyhole, maybe stuff may have changed, maybe stuff may have appeared or disappeared. I guess time will tell. But in the meantime, if you do want to see more videos, at least 3 more, make sure to stick around because they will be coming out shortly. And the third one is definitely a key video you need to see because it might have linkage to a previous video I covered not long ago. So that is it, the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.